Mom-in-law, my husband promised I could live in your house. Fernanda's words hit like a thunderclap in my quiet living room. There she was, standing in the doorway with two massive suitcases and that smug grin I'd come to dread. I took a deliberate sip of my morning coffee, letting the warmth steady me as I locked eyes with her. The silence dragged on, thick and heavy, until I set my mug down with a gentle clink and responded in the steadiest voice I could summon. That's interesting, Fernanda. But I sold the house to a young couple last Monday. Her face twisted like she'd been slapped. The suitcases thudded to the floor. My son Mark froze in the doorway, mouth hanging open, eyes bulging. It was like I'd dropped a grenade right there in the heart of my home. I'm Evelyn, 71 years old, and for most of my life I'd been the ultimate yes woman. The one who loaned money without deadlines, cooked feasts for Thanksgiving gatherings, and bit my tongue through disrespect. But that day, facing Fernanda's entitled stance, something inside me snapped for good. It can't be true, Fernanda stammered, her voice shaking with disbelief and fury. Mark promised this house would be ours. He said you'd agreed to let us move in. I rose from my armchair, my knees protesting my age, but my spine straight as steel. Mark might have promised the world, dear, but this house was mine to decide on. What was supposed to be a joyful family gathering for my grandson Leo's birthday had turned into a full-blown drama I'd never erase from my memory. Fernanda paced the room, her heels clicking like gunfire, hands flailing in outrage. This must be some sick joke, she screeched, jabbing a finger at me. You can't sell without consulting us. We had plans. We even gave up our apartment. Mark finally spoke, sounding like a scared kid. Mom, is it true? You really sold it? I looked at them both, these people who treated my life like their personal playground, assuming an old woman like me had no say. The coffee steam mixed with Fernanda's cloying perfume and the stink of their desperation. Yes, son. Papers signed Tuesday, first $50,000 payment Wednesday. New owners move in next Friday. My tone was calm, like discussing the weather. Fernanda collapsed onto the sofa, legs shaking. Tears welled up, not from sorrow but pure frustration. You can't do this, Evelyn. We need a place to live. My nurse's salary barely covers rent these days, with inflation skyrocketing. I cut in, words pouring from a deep well inside me. When was the last time you asked what I wanted? When did you consider my feelings? Mark perched on the coffee table, leaning in close. I could see the worry lines etched deep around his eyes. Mom, I get you're upset, but this is extreme. We could have talked, found a compromise. I let out a dry laugh that startled even me. Talk? Like about the $1,000 loan from 2 years ago you never repaid? Or Fernanda charging $5,000 a month on my credit card for emergencies? The silence was suffocating. Fernanda stopped sobbing, staring at me with a flicker of surprise, and maybe for the first time respect. But then her expression shifted to cold calculation, that look she got when scheming. Evelyn, maybe age is clouding your judgment, she said sweetly, condescendingly. It's not normal to make big decisions without family input. Mark nodded like a puppet. Mom, Fernanda's right. This isn't you. You've always put us first. Put you first? I echoed, memories flooding back like a tidal wave. 3 years ago, Fernanda showed up crying about her $400 electric bill cutoff. Just this once, mom-in-law, she'd said, using that nickname to tug at my heart. I paid it but never saw a dime back. Instead, she paraded in a new dress costing more. Thanksgivings. I'd rise at 5 a.m. to cook turkey, mashed potatoes, bake pies, decorate, while they arrived at 2 p.m. empty-handed. Nobody cooks like you, Mom, Mark would say, dodging any help. Birthdays? I'd buy gifts, plan parties, clean up, while Fernanda played hostess, stealing the spotlight. What isn't like me? I said, heading to my bookshelf for a brown folder stuffed with receipts, checks, bills I'd covered for a decade. I dropped it on the table with a thud. Here's the $2,500 for Fernanda's ski accident hospital bill. The $12,200 car insurance after your crash, Mark. And this $8,000 promissory note for her car down payment. Fernanda paled but kept her sugary tone. But mom-in-law, that's what family does. You've got more resources, and you've always been so generous. Generous or foolish? I snapped. There's a line between love and being exploited. Mark jumped up, cheeks flushing, shame or anger. Mom, you're unfair. We never asked for what you couldn't give. We've been grateful. Grateful. Another bitter laugh. Like when Fernanda called me a bitter old woman to her friends in my kitchen. Or when you told your brother David you wished I'd stop expecting kids to care for parents in this modern world. This silence had teeth. It was truths unearthed after years of burial under fake niceties and one-way sacrifices. Fernanda tried breaking it. I didn't say that exactly. You did, I insisted. I heard it all from behind the bathroom door, including how this house was too big for one person and perfect for your young family. Mark's eyes bounced between us like a tennis match he couldn't win. Mom, maybe we've erred, but selling without warning? That's wrong. This house holds my childhood memories. I walked to the wall of family photos. Mark as a kid in the yard, birthdays, Christmases, graduations, all here. You're right, son. But when was the last visit just to see me? The last call without a favor? He opened his mouth, but nothing came. Fernanda switched gears. Fine, we can fix this. Cancel the sale. There's a grace period. No, I said firmly. The buyers, Lily and Ben, are expecting their first baby. They'll fill this place with real love, not schemes. Fernanda's mask cracked. Be a selfish old woman then. Don't expect visits when you're alone regretting this. Her threat should have stung, but it brought relief. That just proves I was right, I said, sinking into my armchair. For years I'd wondered if you loved me or my wallet. You've answered that. Mark raked his hands through his hair. A childhood nervous tick. Mom, Fernanda's upset. She doesn't mean it. She does, and the saddest part? You won't challenge her. You followed her lead for 8 years. Fernanda bolted up. I'm not listening to a resentful old woman insult us. Mark, let's go. But Mark hesitated, looking at me like he hadn't in years. Seeing the mom who'd worked double shifts for his college, cheered every triumph. Mom, he croaked. Do you think we only come for money? It hurt, that spark of old sincerity. I don't want to, but what else? Last 2 years calls only for needs, babysitting, bills, cooking. I spread out birthday cards on the table. These from the last 5 years? All in Fernanda's handwriting. You didn't even sign your own name. Mark's face crumpled as he scanned them. And 3 months ago, when I had the flu for a week, who checked on me? My neighbor Naomi with soup and meds. Not you. Fernanda shot back. Reality is you need us more. Who's there at 80 when you can't move? Naomi. Her words poked my fears, aging alone. But something had shifted. Naomi's words echoed. True love isn't bought with sacrifices, it's given freely. I'd rather age with genuine people who love me for me, not my gifts, I said. One Naomi beats 10 fake relatives. Mark tried bridging. Fernanda, maybe we should. She cut him off sharply. We're not begging an ungrateful old woman after all we've done. Done for me. I laughed incredulously. Enlighten me. What, that I haven't paid for or that didn't benefit you more? Silence again. No examples. Mark searched his memory for times they'd been there for me. Not to ask, but just to be. He found none. I placed Fernanda's suitcases outside. Time to go. New owners measure curtains tomorrow. I don't want tension spoiling their home. Fernanda exploded. Kicking us out after we meant so much? Not kicking, just ending this. We know where we stand. Mark's eyes glistened. Mom, please. We're family. Families don't abandon each other. They also don't exploit or manipulate, I said, touching his cheek. At the window overlooking my rose garden, I shared a lesson. You can nurture a plant with everything, but if roots are sick, it won't bloom. Sometimes you pull it to save the garden. He paled, getting the metaphor. Fernanda slumped dramatically. Cruel after years of loving you like a mother, bringing grandchildren, including you in celebrations. Including me as unpaid help, I countered, pulling another folder of photos. Look, me serving cake while you selfie, washing dishes while you relax, alone in the kitchen on Thanksgiving. Mark studied them, shame dawning. I hadn't realized. Exactly, you normalized it. Fernanda admitted. Maybe we weren't grateful enough. We can change, no need to sell. I studied her desperation. Have you ever asked how I am? What dreams I have? What scares me? Silence. I've worried about yours, Mark's job fears, your clinic dream, kids' braces. But I became invisible. I showed the sale documents. $250,000 total. I thought of using some for your house down payment, kids braces, your clinic. But realized if I died tomorrow you'd mourn the money source, not me. Mark deflated. That's not true. Then why only call for needs? Fernanda conceded. We're not monsters, just made mistakes. Patterns, not mistakes, I said softly. This isn't revenge, it's self-preservation. Reclaiming dignity at 71. The doorbell rang. Naomi. She brought cookies and coffee, knowing it'd be tough. How are you, dear? She asked, glancing inside. Need me to stay? Stay, I said, leading her in. Naomi's warmth contrasted their tension. She poured coffee for all, adjusted my cushion. A small care I'd missed from family. Evelyn's excited about her new apartment, Naomi said casually. View of the park, near her favorite bookstore. Mark frowned. Apartment? You didn't tell us. Why? You only cared about my money for emergencies. Naomi nodded. People who should know us best often know least about our hearts. Fernanda bristled. This is family business. I shut her down. Naomi's shown more care in 2 years than you in 8. Naomi shared her story. Her daughter assumed rights to her house. She sold, traveled. Boundaries improved our bond. Fernanda scoffed. We're different, we need help. Naomi replied wisely. Help's fine if reciprocal. Love isn't one way. Photos in hand, Naomi pointed out. Evelyn tried buying love with service. You forgot to give back. Mark admitted. I see now. Fernanda softened. What do we do to fix this? Naomi bridged. Build new rules, expectations. Mark asked. If we start over, would you try, Mom? It hit hard. I dreamed of this. Yes, but understand, no more safety net. Calls for me, not needs. Reciprocity. And if we have emergencies? Mark asked. We'll discuss honestly, not demand. Fernanda reflected. It wasn't intentional. I got lost in your security. I turned to the window, seeing Lily and Ben outside. The problem? I became invisible. Mark recalled my birthday. You spent it alone? Yes, text at 11 p.m. from you. Nothing from Fernanda till days later. Naomi shared. I brought cake, we watched movies. Mark devastated. I didn't know. Shouldn't have to beg for basics. Fernanda paced. How can you be calm? I'd have yelled. Yelling's noise, action changes. Mark asked. What to see change? Time without needs. Interest in my life, reciprocity. Naomi. This talk shows possibility. Fernanda asked. Tell us about your apartment. I want to know your new life. Surprised, I showed photos. 5th floor, 2 bedrooms, 1 art studio. Art? Fernanda asked. I painted before marriage, won contests. Stopped for responsibilities. Classes? Mark asked. Watercolor, book club, dance, walks. Dance. Loved it. Your dad hated it. I shared writing dreams. Memoirs on womanhood, motherhood, voice. Fernanda apologized. For seeing you as a role, not person. Mark. For becoming a stranger. Hugs followed, real ones. We can try, I said. Sale stands, I need freedom. Understand, Mark said. 3 months later, terrace coffee, park view, writing memoirs. Doorbell, Mark and Fernanda with plant. Homemade lunch. Brought this, Naomi said you like red flowers. Touched, I welcomed them. They set table, Mark admired view. You look radiant, Mom. Feel like myself. Fernanda. Started therapy, understanding opportunism. Mark. Reflecting on assumptions. They shared fears, changes, extra shifts, stability. Kids notice we're happier. After lunch they washed dishes. Fernanda thanked. For not giving up, forcing change. Mark. Happy, Mom. Truly. Sunset silence, family rebuilt. Today no asks, just time. That's how it should be. As they left, promising next week with kids, hope bloomed. Boundaries set. Love freer. If this story resonated about reclaiming life at any age, drop thoughts below. What would you do in Evelyn's shoes? Support with super thanks for more tales. Like, subscribe, big hugs, see you next.